Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about how Marathon Digital and Riot Blockchain are on fire. Bitcoin mining stocks are officially back to the races following BTC's technical breakout a couple days ago, and I could not be more bullish on my number one and number two stock pick of 2021 as we head into the month of April, considering the next wave of the crypto bull market has officially been initiated. Although these two have run up so much over the past year, I still truly do believe that all-time highs and significant all-time highs at that are on the horizon. And yeah, I could not be more stoked to share my thoughts with you guys on these plays, okay? So let's get into it. As always, we'll quickly go over each topic we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, you guys know the drill, TradingView, where we'll cover the following names today in this order, going down the watch, so you can see right here. Talk technicals, talk price action, and talk price targets, of course. So kicking it off, you guys know the deal. With Bitcoin, we've got to kick it off with the king of the crypto sector, especially considering these Bitcoin miners will ultimately be dependent on the general direction of Bitcoin and the general trend of Bitcoin, okay? So got to kick it off with the king, got to kick it off with the big dog Bitcoin. And then we will, of course, move into the miners themselves. So we will start with Riot. Mara is kind of the MVP right now. Mara, again, as we've been talking about over the past month, has finally played catch up. These two are almost up and up. Mara's market cap is actually significantly larger than Riot's at this point. And I will talk to you guys a little later in the video, once we dive into the charts, about why as Mara plays catch up to Riot in terms of share price, I will gradually become increasingly more bullish on Riot. Okay, so again, we'll dive into that a little more as we get into the charts. We'll start with Riot. We actually have a few articles to go over too, and then we'll of course dive into Mara at the very end. Save the best for last at this moment in time, at least. Okay, so those are the three we're going to be taking a look at on the charts. In terms of news, we got some big news here. So Riot Blockchain did just announce their quarterly earnings. Riot Blockchain announces financial highlights for the fourth quarter and full year ended 2020 and full year 2020 operating highlights and financial results. Okay, so we're not going to go over this entire thing, but I do want to read for you guys the highlights. If you are invested, this is very important information to have. So we will read over this, and it's looking very good. Okay, so very bullish. This just makes me increasingly more bullish on Riot, and it's just so gratifying to know that these companies who we've been talking about have been making so much progress over the past year is actually showing it in their financial data. Okay, so we'll read through this. We will jump into the chart for Riot after that, so we'll kind of go between article and then stock. So we'll kick it off with this article, go into Riot, move into this article titled Marathon Digital Holdings to launch the first North American based Bitcoin mining pool, fully compliant with US regulations. We all know that's very, very important, especially in this space, in such a young space being crypto. Okay, so we'll cover this. Mara, again, there's so much good news coming out. These companies are making so much fundamental and like tangible developments, and it's just super exciting. Just makes me that much more bullish on these companies. Fundamentally, and obviously the technicals look amazing as well. Okay, so we'll take a look at that, dive into Mara, and I actually just want to talk to you guys about how sick these new website developments are. It's been a while since I've actually taken a look at their website, just because I've been so bullish on these plays for so long that I'm not visiting their websites every day. But Riot and Mara both got complete revamps. I think what was it, like almost a year ago now? I believe Riot Blockchain was the first actual like solo analysis video I did on this channel just about a year ago, and it's crazy to see how much better this website is. This website is so sick. So I do want to make like a revised 2021 solo analysis for both Riot Blockchain and Marathon Patent Group. Again, even Mara's website looks way better. They redid their logos. Whoever designed their website did a very good job. So pretty much I just want to ask you guys which one you want me to do tomorrow, because I think I will make a solo analysis where we dive into the website, take a look at the investor's profile. You guys know all the usual drills we go through when we do a solo analysis. So just let me know in the comments which one you guys want tomorrow, whether it's Riot Blockchain or Marathon Digital, and I will make the next one next week. Considering we got a 3-day weekend, so happy Easter weekend, happy Good Friday, and yeah, it's super exciting, and I believe we are going to kick off the month of April on such a strong foot, and it's going to be a green one. Spring is in full bloom. It's going to be blossoming. Okay. So before you do dive into the charts, you guys, as always, I'll ask you to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're invested, trading, or bullish on Riot Blockchain, Marathon Digital, or Bitcoin like I am, the crypto sector as a whole. You guys know the deal. So give the video a like, really appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. Of course, if we're seeing all-time highs in these plays, we're gonna be pumping out content every day. We already do, but it's just gonna be that much more exciting, and the videos are that much happier when the whole family's eating good. Okay. So subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this. And of course, check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link down in the description. That is $15 a month if you want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, which I do update every single trading day during market hours. All call options, put options, stock positions, cryptocurrency positions, of course. And with every update, I do send out an email newsletter to your email inbox, obviously, explaining my thoughts, rationalizing my trades, letting you guys know why I'm trading the way I'm trading, just so you guys can get an idea of what I'm doing personally, if that interests you at all. So once again, first link down in the description, $15 a month if you want to join the Waves fam for real. But if not, I appreciate you watching here. Let's dive into these charts. So again, we kicked it off on Riot, but we will actually kick it off with Bitcoin. 24-hour market. It's so exciting to follow, and I will definitely pump out some Bitcoin content over the course of this weekend. Again, that's the beauty of not being subject to a stock exchange or the financial markets. I guess this is the financial markets, but you guys get what I'm saying there, the equity markets. Okay, so Bitcoin, again, this cyan line did once Bitcoin broke through this, it did represent a technical breakout from the downtrend from the previous high on March 13th. Set the high around 60, just under 62K. And we have been in a downtrend. So the second half of March was pretty tough, you guys. I think we can all agree on that. But again, things are turning around. Spring is back, and I think we are just getting started. And now that we've technically broken out, we're off to the races, baby. And I think 80K is on the way. So I'll quickly go over why I think that. But first, I think Bitcoin will ultimately come up to test this line that has acted as previous support. So a very significant line of support here. TA 101, you guys. Previous support will act as new resistance, so I think this trend line will most definitely come into play. When that is, I personally believe, if not tomorrow, it's going to be the 2nd of April. I cannot imagine this takes more than a couple days to play out, like 3-4 days max. But I think new all-time highs are on the way. I'm sorry, new all-time highs, I guess, because Bitcoin's previous high was at just under 62K. If we come up to test this trend line over, let's just say April, by the end of the day, April 1st, this would take us to 62.5, which is a new all-time high. And obviously, new all-time highs trigger extremely bullish sentiment. So they really draw the bulls out, okay, when new all-time highs are set. So once we clear this, if we clear through this line of resistance that was once support and also set an all-time high, that's like a double-edged sword. That's a double catalyst from a technical perspective to send Bitcoin to ultimately test the top trend line. Very, very evident, very obvious trend line right here. Sorry, there's so much going on here. I just like to make this kind of fun for you guys to look at. Let's get rid of that. Test the trend line. Top here back in January at the beginning of the year. The second top here in February, almost a month later. Let's see if we can see that third try to the upside. Say we hit it mid-April. Let's just say April 15th. But that would take us to a $78,000 Bitcoin. So roughly 80K price target. Of course, you guys, all these price targets are going to be dependent on when the lines of resistance on the overall uptrends are hit. So just keep an eye on these for yourself. Draw these lines. Very simple to do, you guys. If I can do it, you can do it. So draw these lines on your TradingView accounts for yourself. And just keep an eye on them because many traders are going to be looking at this, okay? So just say April 15th, we hit that 78K price target. Conservative, 75K. Don't get greedy. That applies for all of these, all right, you guys? So that's Bitcoin. Very bullish. Again, you guys, I don't know exactly when this is going to play out. No one does. But everything's looking good. The technicals look good. The fundamentals, obviously, in the video I just made yesterday, we covered the PayPal news, the Visa news, mass adoption, institutional interest. Like, the stars are all aligning in every facet. So it would truly surprise me if we did not see more upside in the very near future, okay? So that is Bitcoin. Let's move on to Riot, but again, we will cover this quickly first. Riot, please load. While that does, let's just go straight to this article. You guys know I always like to do my videos in a single take, but unfortunately, my screen recording software just crashed. It's all good though. We'll pick up right where we left off. So, Riot Blockchain, one of the leading NASDAQ-listed Bitcoin mining companies in the United States, announced today financial highlights and financial results for the fourth quarter and full year ended December 31st, 2020. These are some highlights. Achieved profitability in a GAAP basis in the fourth quarter of 2020. Fourth quarter mining revenues increased 116%, so over doubled, with corresponding fourth quarter G&A expenses increasing by only 14% on a sequential quarter-over-quarter basis. Hashing capacity increased by 460% on a year-over-year basis, so that's pretty much computing power right there. Bitcoin held on balance sheet increased by 110% on a year-over-year basis. Obviously, Bitcoin on the balance sheet as we move forward is going to be a very, very strong asset for publicly traded companies to have in terms of financials. Working capital increased by over 2,000%, I'm sorry, to $233 million on a year-over-year basis. Huge. And I quote, 2020 was a transformative year for Riot, and we believe the company's prospects have never been brighter, says Jason Les, Riot's CEO. Our strategic decision to solely focus on Bitcoin mining in early 2020 allowed allowed the company to exit 2020 as a public company leader as measured by total hash rate. We were pleased to have invested into continuing our deployed hash rate growth, allowing us to capitalize on extraordinary current opportunities in Bitcoin mining. In 2021, we are amplifying our focus on initiatives that will drive further growth for Riot, including increasing the US-based share of the Bitcoin mining landscape. So again, you guys, go check this out. You can easily find this article for yourselves if you want to read more about it. But very good news here. Again, this is from a fundamental perspective. This is what you want to see in a young company like Riot, is just constant scaling. They're scaling their operations. They're getting more mining. They're increasing their hash rate. And obviously, the more hash power you have, the more Bitcoin you can mine. The more Bitcoin you mine, the more money you make. The more Bitcoin goes up, the even more money you make. That's the beauty of the Bitcoin mining model, all right? And of course, the Bitcoin on the balance sheet is just that cherry on top. That's actually a very, very, especially this year, a very, very lucrative thing to have on your balance sheet. Okay, so that is that. Let's move into the charts on Riot here. I'll just talk to you guys about why Riot's actually looking very promising as well, at least as far as the short term is concerned. So over the coming days, I would say by tomorrow, by Thursday, by the end of this trading week, or at least as we kick off the next trading week after the 3-day weekend, I think it's very, very likely that Riot will at least come to test the line of resistance on the current downtrend. So since Riot's high of about $80 back in mid-February, it has been in a downtrend, pretty what is actually like a pretty massive bull flag right here, but it's also a symmetrical wedge. Just for future reference, you guys, the symmetrical wedge pattern will likely resolve itself based on the current overall trend. So because Riot is in an overall uptrend, a very significant overall uptrend, when you see a symmetrical wedge pattern like this, it's more likely than not that it resolves itself to the upside. So I do think that Riot will break out again. Because I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, it only makes sense that Riot will easily break out of this. Mara just did today, and Mara actually set a new all-time high, which I am very excited to dive into after this. But Riot, I think this is a pretty darn easy call. Over the coming trading days, I think it's very easy that Riot will clear $60. That would coincide perfectly with a few trend lines I have here. This trend line was significantly in play prior to Riot going absolutely parabolic earlier this year, close to the beginning of this year. So I do think this will come into play. This coincides perfectly also with the line of resistance on the current downtrend. That happens on April 5th, and I think it's very, very likely that we see at least a $60 Riot over the coming trading days, okay? But once we break out of this, then we are back off to the race, and I think it's very, very likely that Riot will come up at the very least to test this trend line right here. So this trend line was in play, and this trend line is actually the trend line we're about to look at tomorrow. You can see here that Riot did actually surpass this trend line, and once we did, that's when we saw Riot go really parabolic from February 16th to its high, just like a day later. So this was a crazy rally up. This was like very bubbly right here. But so I think this is a more appropriate actual ascending channel. Once we do break through this, I think it's very likely, just say by late April, by April 21st, just where I have the price target drawn. Keep in mind, you guys, once again, it's all dependent on when these lines of resistance are met in terms of the price targets I have. But if we hit it, let's just get the $100 even. If we can hit it on the 19th of April, that would take us to the infamous, the elusive triple-digit Riot that we've all been hoping for the past year now. And it's crazy that it's actually coming to fruition. Again, you guys, we started to shout out to you guys. Like, let me know in the comments down below if you guys have watched that original analysis video. Was with me when we were talking about Riot at like $1, $2. Like, to see it 50, like 100x from $1, obviously, that's insane. And again, that's what you live for as a trader. Okay, so super exciting. Let's hope we see that triple-digit Riot. And again, I would not be surprised in the slightest if we do over the course of this month. So that's Riot. Let's move on to Mara and close it out. I always want to keep saying Marathon Patent Group, but Mara closed it out again. Mara breaking its yearly high. Super exciting. I'm so bullish on Mara right now. As you guys know, have been talking about the good old game of catch up. We'll just zoom out here. This is a very simple analysis, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be an easy way to close it out. For real, you guys, this is more just like a celebratory video. I'm so confident in these plays right now, and everything's just looking so good by every metric, all right? So before we do dive into the charts and close it out, we will go over this very, very bullish news. Marathon Digital, one of the largest enterprise Bitcoin self-mining companies in North America, today announced the company will be launching the first Bitcoin mining pool based in North America that is fully compliant with U.S. regulations, including anti-money laundering and the Office of Foreign Assets Control Standards. And I quote, "The geopolitical value of moving mining pools to North America cannot be understated. Bitcoin is now no different than any other strategic or rare earth commodity. In fact, given the number of businesses now leveraging the potential and promise of Bitcoin for both distributed ledger benefits and as a reserve and hedge against inflation points, to Bitcoin being with few peers in how important it is for long-term U.S. interest. With the work of the Foreign Digital Currency Initiative at Stanford, the team here believes that the infrastructure will help further decentralize Bitcoin and secure the fidelity of the network in both short and long term, said Atticus Franken, co-founder and senior fellow Future of Digital Currency Initiative at Stanford University. So from a fundamental perspective, obviously good. This is just a very, very recent piece of news that I wanted to cover with you guys. But as we know, like Mara and Riot, they've been so good at releasing this, once again, consistent, very tangible, just good news and just strong fundamentals. So you'd love to see that. And I only believe as Bitcoin continues to appreciate the value, as the infrastructure continues to be built out, these two are two of the largest companies in the space. I only believe that trend will continue. And again, although these two have absolutely ripped over the past few months, I still see so much upside ahead for these, okay? So Mara, once again, has officially broken out. You can see it broke out of resistance here. We went absolutely parabolic. That's the primary reason from a technical perspective that Mara went parabolic. This is the same line that I'm talking about Riot hitting pretty soon here. So again, catch up works both ways. As I've said, Riot usually pulls ahead, but Mara always manages to play catch up somehow. The further that diverges, it plays both ways once again. So as Mara plays catch up with Riot, I do believe that Riot will ultimately surpass Mara. So Riot's market cap, let's actually go back to this quick just to give you guys an idea of market caps right now. So Riot's market cap is currently sitting at about 3.6 billion. Mara's market cap is what, just under 4.8 billion. So Mara, because they have more shares, remember you guys, it's not just about the share price, it's about the market cap. That's actually what distinguishes fair value, or like that's the big tell, that's the true tell of fair value. I mean, Mara has a $1 billion lead now. Like, that was inversed just like a month or so ago. So again, Mara's playing catch up. I do think that, again, because we've been watching these stocks play out for so long, that it is likely that Riot will also play catch up once Mara actually catches up. So just keep an eye out for that, you guys. I will be trading accordingly to that. Yeah, just keep that in mind. They always play catch up. It works both ways. So now that Mara's broken out, it didn't close a 4 hour, which is a big tell for me personally. It didn't close a 4 hour above its previous high back in February 17th, February 18th, but it did break it. Everyone's looking at that as I said in the beginning. Same with Bitcoin, new all-time highs, signal hyper bullish sentiment. So I mean, I think we're off to the races now. I think Mara is going to continue to rip. I think we're going to stay up in this very, very high stochastic RSI level for a while. The RSI right now on Mara actually isn't that high, so I still think there's a significant amount of upside ahead. And my price target for Mara, granted we hit it, let's do it mid-April, so April 15th. Again, you guys, all about when these lines of resistance are tested. April 15th would take us to an $80 Mara, and I think it could happen a lot sooner than that. We've seen things happen so fast before with all of the fundamental sentiment, all the stars lining around Bitcoin as an asset. It only makes sense that I mean, the Bitcoin miners see some crazy movement as well. And as you guys know as well, most of the time these Riot and Mara, these Bitcoin mining stocks, and actually the entire crypto sector, the entire crypto equity sector, is pretty much just an amplified version of Bitcoin itself, or the crypto sector as a whole. Okay, so if Bitcoin's setting new all-time highs, sometimes it takes a little while to play catch up. Because again, sometimes people are like, Bitcoin's ripping, why isn't Riot and Mara doing well? It's because the technicals have to catch up sometimes. They're not always directly correlated, although it does make sense. But they do play catch up, and they do, once they start ripping, these bad boys start ripping. Okay, so price target for Mara for Marathon Digital by April 15th is going to be just under $80, conservative $75. If we hit it April 7th, the end of next week, or I'm sorry, April, what's going to be the end of next week? If we hit it by the end of next trading week, which is April 9th, that would take us to just about a $75 Mara. Still, price target is going to be $75. This is a very, very, very obvious trend line right here that is 100% going to come into play if we do continue to rip, of course. But I'm feeling confident. Price target for Mara over the next couple weeks is going to be $75. So super exciting times, you guys. Please let me know down below what your favorite play in the sector is. If it's not Riot Mara, what is it? But definitely of the two, which are you more bullish on personally? And yeah, always love and just celebrate, you guys. It was kind of a rough month of March. Many of you guys know that, but I truly do feel that April is going to be a great one. I'm so pumped to see some green with you guys over the course of this next month. All right, so I will catch you guys in the comments downstairs. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.